Asuh, dudes. What is this? Two uploads? It's like I'm an actual PokeTuber now. Don't get your hopes up. Um, so arrogant. We have a double header for you today. We just uploaded the battle against the Rapidash. Now we're up against the Sampharos, coached by Samaconda, the one and only. Samaconda's got a very threatening team: Mega Garchomp, Alolan Muck, Xurkitree, Ninetales, Alolan, Gyarados, Gliscor, Salazzle, Chestnut, Vaporeon, Golisopod, and all Oricoreos. He declared it to be Psychic this week, and he has the Psychium Z, which is a huge problem for me because, well, I mean, if you played on the ladder, you know what Xurkitree does with Psychium Z. It gets that hypnosis and a speed boost. So, um, for that reason, you're gonna see. You can already see it on your screen. We are not messing around. We have to bring Sand this week because of that. Because of that Xurkitree. It actually dictates a couple things here, but we'll hop right into that. I strongly expected Ninetales and Muck to come, as well as Chestnut, but then he would miss out on some opportunities. Like Salazzle is pretty strong against me. In fact, I think it hits everything except for like Chandelure and Snorlax, and it might have the coverage for Chandelure. It might get Dark Pulse. I honestly don't know, but to combat his team, I'm kind of going to roll the dice here because I know how strong Garchomp gets and Mega Garchomp gets with Sand Force, but I think we'll be able to make better use of the sand. So you see Big Mama. She's going to be our stealth rocker this week. I feel that there are many opportunities for her to get them up. If he decides to bring a Scarf Circuitry, or if he leads like Ninetales or something, try to get Auroraville up, we can come in on that. We can take a Blizzard if it hits. We can get our rocks up, and then Excadrill can go from there. Thought about running Smooth Rock because sand is so important. If he brings the Hypnosis, Z Hypnosis Circuitry, but ultimately decided against it. I thought Big Mama might have an even bigger role to play in this than Excadrill could, if I could keep Circuitry under control. So yeah, there's Big Mama standard spread. It's a magic spread, man. We got Guacamole. The Sand Sister duo isn't complete without her. She is Rockin' Earthquake, Ironhead, Rock Slide, Aerial Ace. The Aerial Ace is for the Chestnut, because the Chestnut would have otherwise walled this thing. It could take all that pretty easily. And because of Excadrill's potency, I really expected Chestnut to be here, so I wanted to make sure I had the coverage. looks like we might be foregoing hazard removal again this week. We'll see if Iron Mantis over there has it. Max attack, Jolly. Actually, so this is, or not Jolly, Adamant. Max speed Excadrill in the sand outspeeds Scarf Salazzle by 1 point. His fastest potential Scarfer. So this worked out pretty well. Max speed was kind of mandatory. Next up, we got Frosty, who is proving to be the MVP so far this season. Another really standard set, max special attack. The Fusion Bolt, I think, is a 2-hit KO on Vaporeon regardless, so I didn't really feel like investing a whole bunch in that when I need the Ice Beam to KO Garchomp. I need to get some chip damage off on maybe Gyarados or something if it tries to come in on a switch, or KO Gliscor or Chestnut. Chestnut's the issue there. Fusion Bolt does a lot, and Earth Power is really nice because that muck could have been a big problem for me, and because of that muck, I decided to run Rocky Helmet, Tornadus Therian. He could switch into the knockoffs. We could pivot around into Big Mama or Guacamole to help deal with it. You'll notice it's a pretty bulky spread. We have max HP actually in this thing, and the speed creeps. I think max speed Salazzle, if I recall correctly. Not a whole lot of coverage here, you'll see. The point of this is to essentially beat his Garchomp, his Gliscor, his Chestnut, and his Muck, if I needed to. And we can also taunt Gyarados if we're afraid it's going to set up Dragon Dance, or Vaporeon if that comes to that. Beef Jones back again. Beef Jones is max attack, max special attack, special defense. Max special attack Snorlax. Maybe 1 week. We're rocking the Chesto and Rest because, like I told you, I'm really concerned about Z Hypnosis Circuitry. I really wanted to run Assault Vest because I felt it would have helped deal with Salazzle better, who this unit is pretty weak to. Like, just look at this team right now. If Salazzle gets to +2, I have to have Sand up, and he can switch around and maybe stall out my Sand. So Snorlax, without Snorlax, Salazzle just owns. And luckily, because I have Thick Fat and a lot of Spadef, even Nasty Plot Sludge Bomb is a 2-hit KO at best. So if I switch it into it and he Nasty Plots, he has to hit twice, and obviously Earthquake KOs. The rest, of course, is to take advantage of the Chesto Berry in KC. KC doesn't get to use Z Hypnosis on this guy. This, because it's so especially bulky, it can actually take a +3 Thunderbolt from Xurkitree as well, assuming he's not asleep. And we can also hit the Muck, the Vaporeon, the Gyarados. Thunder Punch is a 2-hit KO with max attack and Careful Nature, I think this is. So it's the Snorlax is actually really important to the team. And we're going to close out with Swords Dance, Iron Manus, Acrobatics over Aerial Ace, because I thought Aerial Ace would do more damage, because I thought Megastone would count as an item. But out of curiosity, I tested it against Chestnut just to see what it would do. And Acrobatics definitely did a lot more. It did a lot more to like everything. So I think what happens is you get the 55 gets the Technician boost, and because the Megastone doesn't really count as an item, like you can't knock it off or anything, it then doubles after the Technician boost. I could be wrong, but that appears to be how it works. Otherwise, I don't think it would be stronger than Aerial Ace, and my testing showed otherwise. You'll notice, you guys will probably notice, if I use Scissor, I use Light Metal often, because we have a first turn Mega requirement, and if there's like a Low Kick or a Grass Knot or something, it's going to take 0 damage. It's physically defensive because I suspect Gyarados will want to come in on it, but Gyarados can't beat this set because of Acrobatics and Swords Dance. Roost is for longevity. I don't think we'll be using it too often. There aren't a whole lot of things that we would use it on. It also helps me take care of Muck, but Muck also has access to Fire Punch and Fire Blast and things like that, so I definitely want it to be weakened if I bring Scizor in on it. And we're going to hop into the game. You'll also notice we're not using the fancy layout anymore, and I don't know why we're on the other side, but we are. Maybe Guacamole wanted everyone to see how pretty she looks from the front this week. So you'll see my opponent does bring Gyarados, Mega Garchomp, Xurkitree, Salazzle, Gliscor, and Vaporeon. Somewhat surprised at what I'm seeing here, because I expected one of the water types. I didn't expect both of them. I really expected Chestnut, and I thought Ninetales over Gliscor could have been an option, because the Ninetales is actually really strong against me, and Snorlax would have helped against that too. But yeah, his team is still very threatening. It's not necessarily what I prepared for. Like, I feel that I'm ready for everything, but I was definitely surprised at the composition we see here. So we're going to get it started. I'm going to lead the Tornadus because it's a great lead against everything except for Scarf Xurkitree, and I have switch-ins for that. I'm going to go straight for the Hidden Power Ice. I don't think he's expecting it. We're going to do 51% clean 2-hit KO. He's just going to go straight for the Outrage. And as you're going to see, all that bulk I invested paid off in a big way, because otherwise these would have gone down right away. So that living with that 8%, going to get that 2-hit KO with HP Ice, taking it out very early on, which is really nice for us. One thing I should note, I'm going to pause this right here. One thing I should note is that Sam had a lot of disconnection issues, so I don't think he really made any bad plays. So if you do see anything that maybe doesn't make sense, it probably had to do with he was struggling with his internet connection was fine too. It was just Showdown that was giving him issues, and I honestly don't know why. But anyway, he brings in the Xurkitree. I was tempted to stay in because it's such an obvious switch. I'm not sure how much Z's really does here. It can give some Rocky Helmet to Gliscor and Gyarados, as well as taunt stuff. But ultimately I decided, well, you know what, I'll get the Regenerator up. It might come in handy. It still outspeeds a lot of stuff. Maybe we can get some Air Slash flinches or what have you. And I have some switch-ins to this Xurkitree, so I decided to switch. Sam pulls an immaculate double. Xurkit City is out. Taco Cat is in. If I would have stayed in and got some damage off and then taunted, this Vaporeon would have been easier to deal with, but it wasn't. But I didn't, I mean. So he goes for the Scald. The water is cold. Beef Jones. Beef Jones doesn't mind some hot water. You know what I mean? He goes for that Thunder Punch. Does decent damage, but we're going to have to do a lot better than 30% to take this thing out. Because obviously, if you use Vaporeon, you know it has to have Wish. Probably Protect, Heal Belt, or Toxic, and Scald. That's pretty much every single Vaporeon set. So I decided, well, we'll get him low and see what he does. At this point, I should have switched because the Wish should have been obvious. But I go for damage. Maybe I'll get a para or a crit or something. Body Slam, of course, because I don't want Gliscor coming in. I don't want him to get the Toxic Orb activated or anything. So if I could paralyze that before that happened, that would be great. He goes for the Protect. I go for the Body Slam anyway because I don't know. I thought it might be predictable if he switched out, but then he would have kind of sacked his Vaporeon too. So Protect being his safest play, very smart to make it to get that Vaporeon back up. Luckily, the water's still cold. No RNG from that Scald yet. No RNG from Thunder Punch and Body Slam either, though. So nice to have a good clean match here. You're gonna see a lot of like. So this is somewhat risky for me because I know the Xurkitree switched out before the Tornado, so I know it's Scarfed. It's not Z Hypnosis. I'm a little safe there. That means I can more freely use my my Chesla Resto. So I'm willing to let Snorlax get burned to get damage and get myself in a position to take care of this thing because I don't want anything else to go down. If I did, I probably would have sacked Tornadus, but I felt that he still had a play yet with Salazzle back there. But luckily, right now I predict the Wish correctly, and I go out into Kyurem. Kyurem pressures him immensely. He doesn't really have good switch-ins because his one electric immunity is quad weak to ice. They speed tie. If he has any bulk, as most Gliscor do, I will outrun it and be able to KO it with Ice Beam. Although, because I don't see the Toxic Orb here, this is an important thing. Because I don't see the Toxic Orb here, I'm wondering if this is Scarf Gliscor. It seems crazy, but Gliscor has decent, like, workable attack. 95 isn't the best, but it's not bad. He could catch me off guard with, like, a Stone Edge or something. It does get U-turn, so it makes it a decent Scarf user. I'm like, shoot, like, what if he goes for the Stone Edge here, I lose my Kyurem. And look at what Kyurem does to this team, and I really need it for the Vaporeon. So I decide I don't want to risk it. I go out into my Hippo because I see this as an opportunity to get rocks up. If he wants to try and set up, I can phase it out. Swords Dance is not going to be able to take care of Big Mama. He doubles out into his Salazzle, which looks pretty good for me. I can, with the Sand, even if it's Sash, I can KO it here. He goes for the Wisp, though, and I expect him to switch again, so I go for the Stealth Rock. I don't agree with staying in there. I don't think that was the smartest play, because now everything that comes in is going to take rocks damage, and he could have lost his Salazzle, which, if he manages to keep the Sand away, is pretty solid against me. But I'm actually willing to take the burn at this point because I know I can KO with the Earthquake, and I can do enough I can 2-hit KO Xurkitree while burned, and I can phase everything else around. So here's Taco Cat, gonna take advantage of my poor Hippowdon, Big Mama. Doesn't need to fish for a Scald Burn because he already has it. I believe I Whirlwind here, just to get that thing out of my face, get some chip on it. And Nightwing comes out. I see now that he's Leftovers. So the threat of Scarf Gliscor is no longer there. He's got Defog. I can't remember what else has been revealed here. I know he has Defog, Knockoff, and Substitute because this is post-com, obviously. He defogs my rocks away. I'm pretty healthy. I see no reason not to get them back up again. So I'm going to go for my rocks here. I really want that Gyarados to take damage because if it does, then that means Scizor can deal with it a lot better. But I also want to keep Big Mama kind of healthy because I want to set up the Sand later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out into... Oh, I didn't think I did this. Went out into Frosty, rolling the dice here, I guess. He goes for the sub. I'm like, oh, crap. I still don't know what his fourth move is. I assume it's Earthquake because it's stab and it's good. But I really don't know. So I decided, you know what? Tornadus can take a hit. If it's Stone Edge, he got me good. I'll go out into Hippo and phase it out. But he goes for the knockoff, takes some Rocky Helmet. I'm just gonna go for the HP Ice to break the sub. This is one of the two reasons I have HP Ice on this thing. Oh no, my bad. I misclicked and hit Air Slash. I meant to hit HP Ice because it doesn't miss. But he's able to KO with the knockoff. So Z's goes down. He did his job. Gliscor is vulnerable. He took out the Garchomp. Frosty's going to come in and threaten everything. So I can click Ice Beam pretty freely. Nothing's going to come in and appreciate this. He does send in Xurkitree to take it. Xurkitree does not take it well. Remember, we're max attack modest or mild or something. The Ice Beam does like 75%. So I know it's Scarf, remember. He has to go for Dazzling Gleam. T-Bolt won't kill. Grass Knot won't kill. I go into Big Mama so I can set up the sand. But then I had this idea. I was like, you know what? He can't really KO. I thought it would do more to Big Mama. I thought he was going to be able to take it out. So I decided I'm going to keep Big Mama around because Big Mama... Who doesn't love Big Mama, man? Like, she's done so much for us this week. Or this season. And in past seasons. So I'm going to slack off. I know this Gyarados is probably set up. I can't see him bringing two defensive water types, especially when I have Kyurem Black. So I just go for the Whirlwind, expecting the D-Dance, which is what happens. Goes out to Zergit City. Zergit City dies to Rock. So Big Mama picking up the kill. Look at it. She doesn't even need her attack stat. She says, "I'm just gonna say something. She's just gonna blow you around." And that's going to be the end of you. Taco Cat's a pretty safe switch in here. I kind of expect the Wish, but he goes for the Scald because he's sick of dealing with this thing. The water is still cold, thank the Lord. We are at 19%, so even a max roll won't kill us. A crit could, but he protects. And that's when we get off our rest, and we get back up to full. I think Sand goes away after this turn. Or is it still one more? Sand goes away. There we go. So Beef Jones at full health. That Vaporeon's low. He has to wish up. Nothing can come in. Since Thunder Punch and Body Slam are both 2-hit KOs, I go for the Body Slam. Again, I want to catch that Gliscor if I can. Even though I know it's not Poison Heal Gliscor, I still would love to have it paralyzed. I would love for this Vaporeon to be paralyzed, but I'm sure he'd also love my Snorlax to be burned. So the point is moot, I suppose. At this point, I'm aware that Vaporeon is becoming a pretty big issue. I decide I'm going to go for damage here. I'm not sure why he double protected, to be honest. I go for the Body Slam. I want that para. I don't get it. I know he's probably going to Wish here. If he doesn't, this is... Oh, wait. I'm getting ahead of myself. I always get ahead of myself, guys. I'm sorry about that. I go for the Body Slam. Really want that para. Don't get it. I think I stay in for a couple more rounds. I'm really fishing for that para because I've got him on the back foot. He has to be playing defensively. That gives me the opportunity to para, to get crits, for Beef Jones to just do his thing. Okay, so he goes for the Scald. The water's still cold. Not doing very much. That Spadef investment has proven to be pretty clutch. I go for the Thunder Punch just to get him down low because at this point I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to risk the burn on Snorlax because then I have to sleep for 2 turns. So, he switches out of Vaporeon here into good old Nightwing, and I not necessarily predicted that. Again, Body Slam was a pretty safe play on my part here, because the Thunder Punch got him nice and low at this point. I think Body Slam was a 2-hit KO if I recall correctly. I make the play into Iron Manus because Iron Manus is, you saw the set SD, Bullet Punch, Acrobatics, Roost. He can actually win from here. If he goes right into Gyarados now, it's like his only play, so I have to SD. And if I didn't, then Gyarados could set up, and Gyarados could probably win. So I set up the SD. We do have a lot of defense investment. I was somewhat worried that he might be packing a Fire Blast Gyarados. But I saw him Dragon Dance earlier, and I was like, would he really do Waterfall and Fire Blast? Because then Kyurem is an issue. Like, he doesn't have a great way of damaging Kyurem unless the Earthquake, but we're not electric type, so we can take a +1 Earthquake. I only get to +1 because of the Intimidate, and I don't get greedy, thankfully. So I'm able to 2-hit KO with Acrobatics. Taco Cat's back in. On Taco Cat, I decided, I think I should SD because I don't know if Acro's a 2-hit KO from here, especially if he gets a burn. Because there's been a lot of Scalds with no burn. And believe me, after Poseidon's fiasco last season, not one single Scald burn. I know how the odds can be, both good and bad. And usually they're bad in my favor. So as you saw in week 1 here, I'm just going to SD up, and I'm at 42%. He protects there. I don't agree with that play. He knows I have SD. I don't think he knows I have Roost. I could have roosted there, and that would have made a lot of sense. I should have roosted there, to be honest, because then Scizor would have just won. We go for the Acro. As you can see, Acro's now doing 50%, so now it's 2-hit KO. He does get the Scald crit. It didn't matter, of course. You saw from before that it was only doing like 20-something percent. 25, 29, I don't know. But it did 41 there, so obviously it mattered. But in the end, it really doesn't matter because Kyurem can get both of these. He could have switched back and forth and tried to stall out Fusion Bolts, except if he switched out Vaporeon there, Gliscor's immune. I already know that it's not Scarf Gliscor, so I'm probably faster. I can hit Vaporeon with an Ice Beam, and Vaporeon can't recover enough to take repeated Ice Beam, so he could switch every single turn and it wouldn't get him anywhere. Like at a certain point, I could literally just click Ice Beam and win. So that was the game. Kyurem cleaning up. The whole team put in work except for... Did Excadrill do anything? I don't think Guacamole did anything. But you know what? She was there for moral support. She's cheering the team on. Everybody played their part in some form or another. Hats off to Sam. He made some... You saw it. He made some crazy plays like that. He made that double early on with Xurkitree that was really smart. It did reveal to me that he was Scarf, which ended up helping me somewhat, but definitely put him in a more advantageous position since Snorlax was such a solid response to it. But yeah, you're noticing like all my opponents are playing really well, and we keep managing to edge out these wins. I think because our team's pretty strong. Like I sort of wish we had some more speed to it, I guess, some more natural speed, but I mean, we've got a lot of speed with Excadrill and Tornadus. Kyurem's not slow. Manaphy can be kind of, I don't know. It's not a perfect team, but it's a very scary, threatening team that can definitely take advantage of a lot of unprepared opponents. So that's why we're able to beat these opponents who are playing so well and still manage to win. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, guys. I've talked too much. That's enough. That's week 2. I know it's out of order. It's week 2 of the CIL against the Sams. We are now 2-1. We have a +9 differential, so we're doing okay. We're doing okay. We could be doing a little better, but you win some, you lose some. And that's going to be it for me this week, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Wish us luck next week when I think we play. Let's check who we play. Week 4, we play Darby and the Hex. Ooh, he's got Magearna too. That's going to be rough. All right, guys. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.